All right, Keith, if I can have your attention just for about 5 or 10 minutes. It will be lab all period today, but I want to mention something because hopefully what I'm about to say will make sense to you. And if it doesn't, you'll ask or comment on it, whatever. This is the portfolio site. But let's just pretend right now. I did not create an Aero Bridge rescue site. Okay, just so you know, I did not create one. But let's pretend that's what this is. Okay, and so you've got whatever. So you've got 4 different pages in here. And let's assume for just a second that this page, as an example, is the page that's got, you know, we use like that BX slider. And we've got all these little thumbnails. So let's say that she's got 50 different dogs, cats, whatever. And you can click on any one and you get a big picture. You all with me? Okay. So by now, you can look at the stuff that's in here. And probably, at least for the most part, am I right in assuming it makes sense? Correct? All right, I mean, it's basic HTML. Yes, there's been some bootstrap that's been added, etc., but really, it's basic HTML. And what you didn't know, you would be able to go out onto Get Bootstrap or to Google or someplace else and probably figure it out. There's other stuff that we could do in here, etc. You get the idea. All right, so why am I even telling you that? Well, I got an email. Good morning. I got an email the other day from, where are we? I want to show you the one that she sent first. Let's see. And I'm going to say some stuff in here. And hopefully, when I show you this, I'm not going to tick off anybody. But I'm just, again, I'm being totally transparent with you. All right. This is what she sent me the other day then, okay? And as you can see, it says, you are correct in assuming we do not have an Aero Bridge store. So there isn't one. The only 2 things that she is currently selling, and that's not even on a regular basis, are either those Aero Bridge tote bags, and I think she sent a picture of those. I know Angie had it in hers example. For example, maybe some of the rest of you do. I don't remember. But the other thing she said that they sell occasionally as a fundraiser are Aero Bridge Rescue t-shirts. As of right now, that's all she has. Okay? Does that mean in the future it'll change? Who knows? Right? Okay. But the point is this. She said, you are correct in assuming we don't have a store. The tote bags we can sell at any time, and we also do a t-shirt apparel fundraiser 1 or 2 times a year. This is the thing. I guess my question is aimed more towards how these things will be added to the website in the future as needed. Is there an option to add to the website after it is complete? Well, of course there is, right? I mean, we can go and put this out. We could put it out on a product called Heroku. We could put it out on GitHub pages, etc., and other people could look at it. Angie, Gabriel, any one of you could take what you currently have and you could put it out on GitHub pages. You could give her the URL and she could actually bring it out there to people. Now, they wouldn't, unless you've got something actually created in here for a store, they wouldn't be able to buy anything, but they'd be able to go out to all the pages you have. Would everybody agree with that? Okay, good. So the problem is, you and I can go in and right mouse click on a page and do a view page source and pretty much figure out what's happening. I already asked you that. You said yes. I don't think she can. All right, she has kind of described herself as more or less a neophyte with this stuff, meaning she knows how to use a computer. All right, she teaches special needs children, and I'm sure that a lot of the work that they do, I shouldn't say I'm sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the work they do involves a computer, all right, in one form or another. I know that I've seen things that they've got programs for kids that are autistic and other things. Okay, but the point is this. So let's say that, the site is up and running, everything is cool, okay? And right now, there's even a store and everything else is in there, okay? And right now, so she's occasionally selling a tote bag. Once or twice a year, she's selling her t-shirts. But then somebody comes up with the idea and says, you know what? Let's make sweatshirts. Let's make hoodies. So when it gets cold, we want to be able to have those. Well, then what can she do? All right, let's suppose that, she picks Angie's site. She could try to contact Angie, and maybe it's a couple of years in advance, and Angie doesn't remember anything about it, or, she doesn't have an email address, etc. And so she contacts me. So either I have to fix it, or I have to set it up in a way that she can fix it herself. Make sense? And in an ideal world, that's what I would do is I would have her fix it herself. The majority of websites that are out there, that are out on the internet, either if it's a big company, I mean, Amazon has web developers, right? And they have webmasters, etc. They have people who watch this stuff. But for mom and pop sites, and that's kind of what hers would be considered, you don't have that kind of thing. All right? So, again, I think I told you this. She said she wanted to have pizza, etc. We will do this next semester. And so I will buy extra because we'll have 2 more people, and I will let you know the days. So if you want to come in, you'll be able to, etc. But that's not that big a thing. All right. So she said she will get back to me when she sees what's going on. Sorry about that. Shut down my sound. So I'm going to show you this. And again, this is not geared towards any of you that have not completed the project, but I just want you to see this because this is what I've told her. Said, good morning, Miss Kincaid. I'm sorry to hear about your COVID status. Hopefully you'll be up and around soon. Please don't worry about the pizza party. If it's meant to be, we'll have it sometime next semester. These are the 3 people who have been updating their websites. All right. In addition, it says, I've asked the other 4 students to give me working copies as soon as possible so I can send the links to you. All right. And then it says, I said, do you by any chance have a picture of the Aero Bridge t-shirts you have sold in the past? Why? So we can put them out there. Okay, again, that should all make sense. Now, I'm going to come back to this in just a second. Angie got a hold of me yesterday and said, hey, kind of like what's going on? Where can we go? Is there a site out there that has a store in it? Well, there's plenty of them out there, as you'd probably guess. All right, and I pushed her off to, I think it was, this one right here. And it's from Web Dev Simplified. It's a site I use a lot. The guy who runs it is Kyle Cook. He's very easy to listen to, and he's unbelievably knowledgeable. All right, I've even shown you a couple of the things that he's done before, and it's about 45 seconds long. All right, and the good news is he even, as he often does, he even gives you all the code. So yeah, we could take that, we could plop it in, etc., and that wouldn't be a problem. All right, until again. What if she wants to add a new product? Then we go through the same thing again that we talked about before. Either she has to contact one of you and have you put it in, or contact me and put it in. Or I have to sit down with her and try to explain this to her. Now imagine, this is a woman who works full-time as a special needs teacher and basically works full-time with a dog or pet rescue operation. And I'm going to say, hey, do you have about 5 hours? We could sit down and I could explain JavaScript to you. She'll probably be like, no. I mean, I really don't want to learn it either, to be honest with you. All right? So one of the things that you can do, not you, but I mean that can be done, is you can take a website that is done in HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, jQuery, etc., and before you actually put it out onto the internet, you can convert it into one of many different packages that exist. All right, there's one called Drupal. The one that's probably the best known, and maybe you've heard of it before, is called WordPress. All right, so my plan is once she decides what one of these she wants to go with, would be to go out and go into, and convert this into WordPress. I've never done this before. I know Evan has. Evan in St. Louis has done the same thing that I'm having you do in the past. He has had people create websites as basically as their midterm, and then they pick one of them, and that site actually goes live. He's done the same kind of thing, to my knowledge, because I'm watching one of his videos, and that's what he said, that he wanted to set it up so that it was pretty simple for the person who they created the website for. It was a restaurant, or whoever was going to run it, that they could go in and make changes to it. All right, and that's what he did. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So I started to watch, and I've gone out, WordPress website build for beginners, the Traverse he has. He's got a 2-step series. This is build a WordPress website in an hour. This, he takes an actual site. This is like a CSS template that's out on the web. He grabbed the whole thing. And he's got 2 videos, one that's 29 minutes, one that's 17 minutes, so about 45, 50 minutes, and he converts them over into a into a WordPress website. All right. So again, you might say, okay, that's fine and dandy. Well, that was other stuff I was watching this morning. I was trying to see if I had the other one. Nope. But one of the things that they have in WordPress is they have a lot of plugins. You know what a plugin is now, but WordPress is literally filled with hundreds of plugins. And they're even easier to use typically than what we've been doing. Literally, you take it, you drop it into your code. That's what you do. All right. Now, they have one that's called WooCommerce, W-O-O Commerce. And what it does is it allows you within minutes to set up, pretty much, to set up a store on your website. So rather than having you do it, because let's face it, it's the end of the semester and that'd be a lot to throw at you. All right, what I'm planning on doing is having her being rather Ms. Kincaid, pick which of these sites she thinks she'd like to go with. All right, then I will work with the person. And if you have not been doing this, I don't want to go off on too big of a tangent here, but if you have not been doing this on yours, down where you've got your where you've got the footer, have your name in there, because this is going to be out there for a while, with whatever one she picks. All right, and have your name and have 2020. You can put Rankin Technical College in there. You don't have to. All right, if you want to put it in, that's great. It's a little free publicity for us. If you don't want to, and you're like, well, I want to be able to show it to people once I graduate, I get that too. All right, but you really should put your name in there. And I think I've mentioned this to you before, but just on the off chance I have not, I know I've shown you this site before. This is the one that was created. This is Leave Me Alone, not Leave Me Alone. What was it? Leave Me at Home? LeaveMeAtHome.com. This is the site, again, for my friend Tom. But when you look down here, LeaveMeAtHome.com 2019 by Luke Gosno. That was the one that got picked. So this is just something that Luke can add, all right? And what I will end up doing is I will convert the thing over, and then I told her I'd sit down with her, give her some URLs first, but try to spend maybe a half an hour to an hour and explain to her how to use the stuff that's on the site. So that's the plan, all right? The only bad thing, so to speak, about this is most companies, and I recommended that she go when she got her domain and all her other stuff. I recommended that she go with a company that's called, I think she went with Namecheap for that, and she's probably going to go with Bluehost for her hosting. And the thing is, Bluehost is a fine company. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But like other companies, they want to write your stuff. They don't want to just house your stuff because they don't make that much money on it. They want to write your stuff because they can get you then for maintenance fees and everything else. Well, she doesn't have the money to do something like that. So when I've set this up in the past, we've set it up for people who are, it's like here, like this LeaveMeAtHome.com or the Aerobridge rescue site. They're not there. I mean, Tom is making money on it, but he would not make a living on just this. She is not making any money on her. She's actually looking to get some money. All right, hopefully, amongst other things from this. So I will try to convert this over. Once it's been converted, what I'd like to do when we get to that point is to work with her and set up the WooCommerce part together with her. That way, if she ever has to go in and add something, she knows exactly how to do it. So I would do it first on like a copy, but then I would take the regular one with her and then do that. And then once we've got everything the way she wants it, then we push it up there. Does all that make sense? All right, so that's the plan. So again, that's why I'm asking you, those of you who have either given me an incomplete site or a site that has little to nothing in it, try to give me some content. All right, and the last thing I'll say is, the 3 people who've turned theirs in already kind of have an upper hand because they've turned them in already. But that said, that she's going to pick the one she wants. I have no idea. And this has happened. Tom said to me, all right, because at that time I had I think there were 13 people in the class. Gee, Jeff, which one would you pick? And guess what I told him? I said, I'm not even going to tell you. All right, and I'm still not going to say. There were several of them that were very good. In fact, he actually ended up taking Luke's, but there was another one that Laura did. They were 1 and 2 in his mind, and there were a few things that Laura had that he asked if Luke could incorporate those into the site, and she may do the same thing. All right, it isn't a contest. All right, or if it is, look at it this way: it's a marathon, and not that it's a sprint, not a none of that. But the thing is, if you enter a marathon, most of us, if we entered a marathon, wouldn't win. I think our goal would be to finish, and that's what our goal should be here. All right. So again, I didn't really have anything more to say other than that. I wanted to give you an update on that. All right. So again, going back to that email that I showed you, wherever I put it. No. There it is. So as I said, finally my plan is eventually for you to pick the website you like the most, get said site completed, and then transfer the site currently built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap to its equivalent in WordPress. And I just gave her the link to Wikipedia for WordPress, so if she wanted to start looking at it. My guess is if I had her go out there and actually start looking at it, she'd be really confused. All right, and she has not gotten back to me. I sent this to her yesterday. It says WordPress has a more intuitive interface, and I believe I could teach you what you need to know about it in a half hour or so. Now, maybe I'll work with her for a half an hour and she'll have no frickin' clue as to what we're talking about. I don't know. All right. And it said then you would be able to edit the site yourself as needed. That's the goal. All right. So that's where we stand right now. So again, as I said, my hope is that those of you who have not turned in anything with content in it will be able to do that. And even if you've got Friday, next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you take one of those days and dedicate it to try to putting some content in there and then sending it to me, A, I will give you more points than you had for your project, and B, I will be able to send this to her and say there's a few more contenders that you have to look for or look through. All right? Any questions on anything I've said? Well, that was 25 minutes or 20 minutes I took out of your life. Sorry about that. The rest of the period will be lab. Next week, the plan is to make it lab as well. I hope that she gets a hold of me this weekend so I can give you an update on what she says. And like I said, I'm just watching all these videos myself. I'm going to try to take, I don't know, maybe my portfolio site, something like that, and just convert it over into a WordPress site. And I would walk through the steps with you next week if I have time. It's a good news, bad news situation. My wife is going to visit our daughter in Illinois today, so I'll be home all weekend. All right, and when she leaves like that, I'm not a guy who goes out a lot, So I will be home all weekend. If as I get time, I will be trying to work on this. I'm going to try to dedicate one of the 2 days of the weekend to working on this. So hopefully on Monday I can show you exactly what I did. All right, okay, that's it.